Vasudevaya. Today we're reading from the Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th Canto, Chapter 5, texts number 23 and 24. Continuing on through this very important verse spoken by Prahlad about the 9 processes of devotional service. We've heard about great hits in bhakti like Shravanam. We've sung about glorious devotional practices like Kirtanam. We've remembered the important activities of Smaranam. And now we're up to Vandanam, which is my personal favorite. Vandanam means prayers. Offering prayers to the Lord as a expression, as a practice of devotion, also as a cultivation of devotion. What Prabhupada has said about Vandanam in this purport is short, but one sentence alone is enough to get us going for many, many lifetimes. So I think we'll still do the Sanskrit again. So we have it all memorized, and then we'll get into the purport. Shri Prarado Vacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakhyam Atma Nivedanam Iti Pungsharpita Vishnu Bhaktishchennavalakshana Kriyeta Bhagavatyadha Tanmanye Ditam Uttamam. Would you like to chant the shloka, Taraka Prabhu?
I would love to chant the shloka. Shri Bharata Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Parasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmadivedanam Iti Pum Sarpita Vishnu Bhaktishchenna Valakshana Kriyeta Bhagavat Yadha Tanmanye Dithamutamam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anybody else feeling feisty today?
Sri Prahada Uvacha Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Samaranam Pada Sevanam Akanam Vadanam Dasyam Sakyanam Ata Nividam Iti Pum Sapita Vishnu Bhakti Sin Havana Laksha Prityata Bhagavate Adha Tan Madhyam Dityam Utyam.
Excellent. Excellent. Bhakta Kaur is getting his Sanskrit down. um, can we go straight to the translation and then to this part of the purport, if that's all right? We'll read the translation again. The Prahlad Maharaj said, hearing and chanting about the transcendental holy name, form, qualities, paraphernalia, and pastimes of Lord Vishnu, remembering them, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, offering the Lord respectful worship with 16 types of paraphernalia, offering prayers to the Lord, becoming his servant, considering the Lord one's best friend, and surrendering everything unto him. In other words, serving him with the body, mind, and words. These 9 processes are accepted as pure devotional service. One who has dedicated his life to the service of Krishna through these 9 methods should be understood to be the most learned person, for he has acquired complete knowledge. Jai. We're going to go down the purport to the section on Vandanam. We've done Shravanam, Kirtanam. We've done Smaranam, Archanam, and then Archanam part along. Vandanam. Prabhupada's only said a little bit here. Where is it? Here we go. Vandanam. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Vandanam. Although prayers are a part of deity worship, they may be considered separately like the other items, such as hearing and chanting, and therefore separate statements are given herewith. The Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities and various activities offers prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful. In this connection, the following are some of the offenses to be avoided. A, to offer obeisances on one hand. B, to offer obeisances with one's body covered. C, to show one's back to the deity. D, to offer obeisances on the left side of the deity. E, to offer obeisances very near the deity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnana Gyananjana Shalakaya. Excuse me while I do a little vandanam, some prayers. Om Jnana Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shiguru Shriyuta Parakamalam Shigurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dhinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Yeah, we're going to hear a lot of prayers today. Since it's the section of this verse specifically dealing with the process, or we should say the expression of devotion through vandanam, which means to pray, which of course comes naturally to many. But what kind of prayers can someone offer while entangled in material existence? What kind of prayers can someone offer to the Lord while still abused by desire and aversion? For someone who is conditioned in this life by body and mind and material energy, it's very natural that their prayers are pertaining to some mitigation of the sufferings of the body and the mind. It's very natural that such a person's prayers are a request for the fulfillment of some desire. Lord, give me this. Lord, give me that. Right? Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches. I must make amends. I've worked hard all my lifetime. I've been good to my friends. So Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? That's the type of prayers that's possible, of course, and wonderful for someone who is conditioned by material existence, who sees the Lord as an order supplier, as Srila Prabhupada would say. And it's great, of course, to approach Krishna for anything, even if we have all material desires. Akama, if we're free from material desire, or sarvakamava, even if we have all material desires. Moksha kama, even if we want to be liberated from desire. Udharadi, someone who is very intelligent, who is broad-minded. Tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusha param, will approach the Supreme Lord, Krishna, and engage in intense devotional service. Tivrena bhakti yogena. So even if we have all material desires, we should pray to the Lord. One should pray to to the spiritual master for the blessing to understand the Shastra, to understand the bhakti science. One should pray to Sri Sri Gaur Nitai for anything. Actually, the Lord is very merciful in his form as Sri Sri Gaur Nitai, Mahavadanyavatar. One should pray to Radha and Krishna, Sri Sri Radha Damodar, for devotional service. It is not the appropriate bhava, it's not the appropriate rasa to go before Sri Sri Radha Damodar and say, Lord, give me this, give me that. I want more of this and I want less of that. And if you could do it by the end of today, that'd be great. That's not an appropriate prayer to Sri Sri Radha Damodar. Radha and Krishna are just little kids in Vrindavan, youths on the verge of teenager bhava, and they're not thinking about maintaining the universes and fulfilling everyone's karma. No, they're just enjoying sweet, loving exchanges with their pure devotees. And approaching Sri Sri Radha Damodar, we should ask to be engaged in devotional service for their pleasure. But how would we know this if we didn't hear from great devotees? If we were to just drop into this world with nothing, we might think that I should approach God to fulfill all of my desires. And although that's certainly better than approaching, I don't know, the material energy, still, there's so much more potential to be had in the cultivation of devotion than just seeing the Lord as an order supplier. Prabhupada has made this very clear. If we just see the Lord as our order supplier, our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Actually, that's a very nice one. Or give us this day our daily bread. Give me this, give me that. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong. I chanted that one many, many times in Catholic school. It's a very good sentiment to appreciate the Lord as the order supplier. Please give us our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. It's a nice sentiment, but very much pertaining to our existence in this material world. And for many, that's the relevant prayer. I'm going to make an important point out of all of this, if you bear with me, devotees. For many, that is the relevant prayer. As they say, there are no atheists in the foxholes or in the trenches. When we're in serious distress, when we're really suffering, then it is very relevant. It is very cathartic. It's very powerful to pray to the Lord. When we've hit rock bottom, that's the most powerful way to remake yourself, to be reborn, to pray to the Lord, saying, I have nothing else but you, Lord. It's so amazing, actually. But there's something still more amazing, believe it or not. The sort of prayer, vandanam, the sort of expressions of devotion, which are free from materialistic desire, which are free from any selfish motivation, which are just for the pleasure of the Lord, and which cultivate a certain mood of devotion in relationship with the Lord. That's something very special called vandanam. As Srila Prabhupada says in this paragraph about vandanam, the Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. This is a different definition of prayer than what we might have learned in our other religious upbringings. This is different. One who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful. This is very different. Now, when I was a young brahmachari in the ashram, I thought that the only reason for learning shlokas and prayers that we read in Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita or the Nectar of Devotion, I thought that their only purpose was so that I could dominate the Bhagavatam class. And I would just get up there, some 19-year-old egoistic kid, and then just inundate everybody with a deluge of Sanskrit, just blow everyone away. And I thought that's the whole point. I have to express my dominance over everybody else by knowing the most Sanskrit and just preaching like the blowing wind, like a tornado. And for many years, I cultivated that attitude and I learned lots of shlokas. And I would just beat everyone over the head with it. But then one day, one fine sunny morning in Sydney, Australia, while walking back to our ashram early in the morning, we would go to this one place where we do our morning program, and we go back to this ashram that we had. And I was with my dear godbrother, Shastrakrit Prabhu. And just as we were entering the front door of our ashram in Darlinghurst, Sydney, he turned around and he faced the sun, which was coming up over whatever. You could practically see the Sydney Harbor Bridge from where we were. It was just coming up. And Shastrakrit Prabhu put his hands together, he faced the sun, and he said, Yachchakshuresha savita sakala grahanam raja samasta suramurti rashesha teja yasya gaya pramita sambrita kala chakro govindamari purusham tamaham bhajami. And then he opened the door and he entered into the ashram. And I was like, hold on a second. We're not in Bhagavatam class. We're not preaching to somebody right now. We're not expressing the dominance of our understanding of the scripture. Why would you be saying this right now? And I just had this amazing realization that actually all of these beautiful, beautiful, stunningly poetic verses and prayers that are just saturated with bhakti are meant simply for expressing some affection for the Lord. As Prabhupada's saying in this paragraph here, one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. That is the devotional service. So Shastra Kripavi recited this verse, which is a meditation on the sun as being the effulgence of Krishna, of Govinda, manifested all over this universe. And he's just feeling the influence of the Lord's quality and therefore offering prayer. And so I had this realization like, wow, you can just do that? You can just say something about Krishna so sweetly, so affectionately? So that's Vandanam, it's devotional service. And it's so wonderful to do at all times. But again, if our progress towards Krishna thus far has been very much in the bhava of, oh my God, I'm suffering, or oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz, then, our prayers, they might be natural, but they're, how should we say, limited to that material domain. If we hope to cultivate the sort of selfless devotion of pure devotees, then let me give a tip, dear devotees. We simply learn and recite those prayers that are already expressed by pure devotees and already accepted by Krishna. And that mood of wanting to serve Krishna in the same way naturally manifests. In other words, we don't have to come up with some sort of pure devotional prayer. We don't have to try to engineer one. You don't have to ask ChatGPT. Actually, our scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, is just filled to the brim with abundant prayers to the Lord, which go far beyond the sort of order supplier mood that Srila Prabhupada was talking about. We want to go beyond that, just seeing Krishna as the Father, give us our daily bread. Glorious as that may be, we have the potential by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, to go far beyond that, to cultivating intense and very specific moods of devotion. By hearing those prayers recited by pure devotees and then also reciting them to the Lord, we can awaken within us those same moods of devotion. As it is said by our Param Guru, Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami, Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavanoy Shravana Adi Shuddha Chitta Karya Udoy. That within all of us, the eternal perfection is prema, pure love of God. Pure love of God. It's there. It's already within us. Shravana Adi. But by the process of Shravana, etc., hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, the 9 processes, then Shuddhachita Karyodoy, the consciousness becomes purified and that natural devotion comes up. So, when we read Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion especially, we are exposed to moods of devotion which we could not speculate on our own. On our own, the best sort of prayers we can offer is, Lord, give me this or give me that. Or, please protect this person or bless someone. Or something pertaining to the body and the mind. Let's be honest, that's the best that we can manifest on our own, either for our own body or for some extended bodily identification for our family, for our community, for human society. It's great. It's a great mood. I'm not trying to put it down, really. But I'm trying to say that there's so much more in devotion. And we cannot imagine that without hearing from pure devotees. And so, here's something real interesting I'd like to share with the devotees this morning. As I heard from my spiritual masters, Holiness Devamrita Swami Maharaj, and I think he was actually reciting something spoken by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who said that after 10 years of chanting Hare Krishna, you ready for this? After 10 years of chanting Hare Krishna, you should start to get an idea of what your natural mood in relation to the Lord is. Sometimes this is referred to as the Swarupa, your original spiritual form, Siddha Swarupa. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said after 10 years of chanting. Now, probably in his time, well, we know that devotees were chanting 64 rounds every day. They're probably reading a lot. Perhaps he was speaking especially to those in the ashram. But still, after some time, we should naturally start to have some idea of what our relationship is with the Lord. How is that so? By hearing the Shastra all the time. By hearing the scriptures all the time. By hearing what the pure devotees pray to the Lord, we should become naturally attracted to a particular mood of devotion being expressed therein. As Prabhupada says in this paragraph, the Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful. So it's actually very natural. After some time of seriously performing sadhana bhakti, chanting at least 16 rounds every day, following at least 4 regulative principles, hearing and chanting Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, and so many others, associating with devotees, it's very natural that after some time of this sadhana bhakti, that there's a natural attraction to a particular mood of devotion expressed by the Lord's pure devotees. Then Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that in the kirtan with the devotees, one can realize their swarupa, their natural attraction to the Lord, and then cultivate that within their japa. This is, of course, some advanced level devotion. But as Prabhupada's saying, this is how one becomes successful. when one feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities and offers prayers to the Lord. So, that means that when you read the scripture, when you read Srimad Bhagavatam, and especially when you read the Nectar of Devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Srila Rupa Goswami, and the summary study by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, the Nectar of Devotion, you're exposed to so many moods of devotion expressed in prayer. And it's natural to feel drawn towards a particular bhava or mood, like a catalog. You flip through a magazine or catalog and you see, oh, wow, I like that. So this is what my spiritual master was saying, and I'm pretty sure he was referencing something that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying. That will become drawn to a particular mood of devotion that's expressed. And then we should learn those prayers. We should recite those prayers before the deities of Sri Sri Radha Damodar. Not asking, give me this, give me that, but to awaken those natural moods of devotion. So there are so many prayers. I mean, I thought since I have Vandanam, I should just recite 1,000 of my top 1,000 favorite prayers. I mean, I've got my note-taking apps on my phone. I've got several apps because I can't even organize all of them. I just got so many different prayers that I've written down for learning all the time, for reciting all the time. It just goes on and on and on. And it's such a sweet practice to keep some in mind, to remember them, to make a sort of routine when you go before the deities. Don't just go and say, well, I guess I'm here now, but have a series of prayers to recite. I learned this practice from His Holiness Shivaram Swami, who has like I don't know, it's like a manifesto of prayers that he recites, and it's so long. I mean, it probably takes him 30 minutes, but I just picked up a few. Like, for example, I'll go before when I go and take darshan in the temple room in front of Sri Sri Radha Damodar and Gaura Nitai. I first, of course, offer prayers to the spiritual master. That's what we're meant to do first. We offer prayers to our spiritual master and or to Srila Prabhupada. And then I recite to Sri Sri Gaura Nitai the, what are the first ones I do? Oh, the seed verses of the Chaitanya Charitamrita describing Lord Chaitanya's internal or his confidential and his external reasons for his appearance. Those 3 verses are very, very important to meditate on. Anarpita charim charat karunaya avatirna kalo samarpayatam unata ujvala rasam sabhakti shriyam hari purata sundara duti kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare spuratuva sachinandana. I so much better at the at the Sanskrit than I am at the English. By the way, I'll say something about learning Sanskrit because it's not that I don't know, different from everybody else. There's really just a methodology. There's just a methodology, and you apply some method, and then you can learn some shlokas very fast and very easy. And the reason that they're put in poetic form is that it makes it easier to remember. Poetry is always so much nicer and easier to remember. So anyway, so I go in front of the deities and I first recite some of these, the first few verses of Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, chapter 1, text 4, 5, and 6. It's so good to meditate on Lord Chaitanya in this way. I'll just do the English though. So this is my routine when I go in front of the deities, when I'm practicing Vandanam. So I start with, may the Supreme Lord, who is known as the son of Srimati Shachi Devi, be transcendently situated in the innermost chambers of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has appeared in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no incarnation has ever offered before, the most sublime and radiant mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. Unata ujvala rasam svabhakti shriyam. I mean, when you just You hear this, and you just pow. So ecstatic. Unata ujvala rasam svabhakti Shriyam. I'll never get tired of that. Then the next one, I got to do the Sanskrit, sorry. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vrikritir Hladini Shaktir Asmad. Ekatmanava people vi Puradeha Vedam Gatautam Chaitanyakyam Prakatamadana Dvayam Chaikyam Aptam Radha Bhava Dutti Savalitam Naomi Krishna Swarupa. The loving affairs of Sri Radha and Krishna are transcendental manifestations of the Lord's internal pleasure-giving potency. Hladini Shakti. Although Radha and Krishna are one in their identity, they separated themselves eternally. Eka Atma. They're actually one soul. Api bhuvi pura deha bedam gatota. But in this modern time, at the time of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is writing this, just Lord Chaitanya is very recently here. So now, in the modern time, they are again united in the form of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. I bow down to him who has manifested himself with the sentiment and complexion of Srimati Radharani, although he is Krishna himself. This is how I start. There's one more that I recite to Sri Sri Gauranitai. No, actually, there's many more. But these three verses, these three prayers are so wonderful to meditate on. Shri Radhaya Pranaya Mahima Kidishavanayaiva Svadyo Yenadbhuta Madhurima Kidishava Madhya Saukyam Chasya Mad Anubhavataha Kirdisham Vettilo Bhat Tadbhavatya Samajani Shachi Garba Sindha Harindu. Desiring to understand the glory of Radharani's love, the wonderful qualities in him that she alone relishes through her love, and the happiness she feels when she realizes the sweetness of his love. These three things. The Supreme Lord Hari, richly endowed with her emotions, appeared from the womb of Srimati Shachi Devi as the moon appeared from the ocean. I mean, you can't just make up something like that. You can't even imagine something like that. So that's why we need to hear from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami how to approach Sri Sri Gauranitai, how to pray to Sri Sri Gauranitai, how to pray to Radha and Krishna. After reciting those three verses, then I do Kripa Sudasaridyasya Vishvamaplavayantapi Nichagaiva Sadabhati Tam Chaitanya Prabhum Bhaje. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami prays that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is his mercy, his kripa inundates the universe. Just like the Ganges River, the celestial Ganges, it doesn't just start up in the Himalayan mountains. It begins up in different planetary systems, actually, and comes down to this planet in its subtle form. Things can have their subtle and their gross form. So it comes down to this planet in its subtle form, but first it goes around the universe in various places. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is praying to Lord Chaitanya, saying that the Lord's mercy, it inundates the universe like the Ganges River. And just as water always flows towards the lowest place, similarly, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu always especially favors those who are most fallen. Nichaga. Nichaga means it is very, very low. Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sadodido Gaudadaya Pushpavanto Chitra Shundo Tamonado. Shri Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda are like the sun and the moon coming up simultaneously on the horizon of Gaudadesh. Usually, if we're lucky, we have the sun here and maybe a little bit of the moon over there. But Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said they're like the sun and the moon coming up simultaneously on the horizon of Gaudadesh to wonderfully bestow benediction upon all. What is that benediction? Singing and dancing in kirtan. So this is how we pray. Katanchana smite. No, what's the one that? Well, now I can't remember because I'm doing it out of order. I have to actually be sitting in front of the deities to remember all the prayers that I do. That whatever is easy becomes difficult if one forgets Lord Chaitanya. What is very difficult becomes easy. One remembers the Lord. What is that one? Oh, katanchana smite yasmin dushkaram sukaram bhavet vrismite viparitam syat shi chaitamyam namami tam. Here we can hear Krishnadas Kaviraj saying, Shri Chaitanya namami, namaha ami tam. I offer my namaha, my respectful obeisances unto you, Shri Chaitanya. Why? Katanchana smite yasmin. Dushkaram sukaram bhavet. Things that are very difficult to do become easy to execute if one somehow or other simply remembers Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is so true. But if one does not remember him, even easy things become very difficult. To this Supreme Lord, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I offer my respectful obeisances. This is how we should pray. And recognize, yes, sometimes even easy things become difficult. If I fail to be God conscious, if I fail to remember the wonderful benediction bestowed upon me by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even easy things become difficult. Sometimes I can't even tie my shoes, just a mess. But remembering Lord Chaitanya, Mahavadanyavatar, the most merciful incarnation, then even difficult things become very easy. What is a difficult thing? Death becomes very easy. Remembering the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What to speak of dying? Attaining the devotional service of the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna becomes very easy by remembering Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. How would we know this if we hadn't heard from Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? How could we ever cultivate an appreciation for the Lord in this way if we didn't hear from the pure devotees who pray not just for some material mitigation, but for pure devotional service? How would we ever know if we didn't hear from them? So we should learn these prayers. Let me just give you a few more. I don't want to bore everybody, but there's just so many. After reciting prayers to Sri Sri Gaur Nitai in front of the deities, then it is advised that we should first pray to the lotus feet of Krishna. We should first pray to the lotus feet of Krishna, meditate on the Lord's lotus feet, and then move up in our darshan to the Lord's form, to his face, his smiling face. And so the prayers I have to the lotus feet of the Lord, oh my God, that's my favorite actually. I sort of collect them. I've got so many of them. I'll just recite a few if you'll bear with me. First, one spoken by Queen Kunti. This is how she prays. Nayam janome sukha dukkha hetur nadeva tatma. Well, that's not the one. No, she says, Shrinvanti gayanti granantya bhikshnasam smaranti nandanti tavehitam jana. See, we're hearing very similar words to this sloka from Bhagavatam. Ta'eva pashyatya charena tavekam bhavo pravaho paramam param bhujam. She says, those who continuously hear, chant, and repeat your glories, singing them and remembering them, and who take pleasure in others doing so, certainly see your lotus feet, which alone can stop the repetition of birth and death. Who takes pleasure in others doing so. I like to recite this verse because there's actually not so many prayers or shlokas in Srimad Bhagavatam about Sankirtana. That's actually, it's an esoteric devotional practice. But here in Queen Kunti, she's saying we should take so much pleasure in others also hearing, chanting, remembering, and glorifying your lotus feet. So I like to recite that one. Lord Brahma says, these are all prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord. You can take them if you like and add them to your repertoire. But Lord Brahma says, Atapite deva padam bhuja dvayan prasada leshanugrihita evahi janati tatvam bhagavan mahimno nachanyameko pichiram vichinvan. He says that one who receives just the tiniest little sliver of a portion of a fragment of the mercy of the dust of your lotus feet. Seriously. Prasada lesha anugrahita eva hi. This is really emphasizing just the tiniest little portion of the saffron mercy particles from the lotus feet to the Lord. Can understand the greatness of the personality of the Lord. Janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno. Nachanya eko pi charam vichinvan. One cannot understand the personality of the Lord even if he studies the Vedas for many, many years. What? But we're all studying the Vedas all the time. We're all reading Srimad Bhagavatam, hearing Bhagavatam class. But we can't understand the Lord. Brahma says one must receive the mercy of the lotus of the Lord. Not just the mercy of the Lord, one tiny little speck of a fragment of a portion of a mercy dust particle. Prasada lesha anugarita eva hi. That's how one can understand the personality of the Lord. It's not some intellectual exercise, not just memorizing shlokas, but one has to receive the mercy of the Lord to understand the greatness of the Lord's personality. So this is how we should pray. To the lotus feet. Atapiteteva pada ambuja dvaya. Unto those two lotus feet. Ambuja dvaya. Can I just give a few more? I know my time is running out, but I've got a long list of prayers that I make before the deities. Here's one more. Ashesha Sanklesha. Maybe this one's a bit more relatable. Ashesha Sanklesha. We should already know. Klesha means suffering. You got all sorts of suffering. And sam means complete suffering. Like really, really bad. And Ashesha means unlimited. So Ashesha Sanklesha means unlimited, completely miserable conditions. Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidate Gunanuvada Shravanam Murare Kimva Punastach Charanaravinda Paraga Seva Ratir Atmalabdha. Now you might be thinking, Yashadev said we shouldn't just pray for the mitigation of our material distress, but this prayer spoken by Shesha Sanklesha. Where did that verse come from? It's the third canto, I think. Was it spoken by Vidura? I'm gonna have to look it up now. Wow, I can't even remember. That's really embarrassing. Ashesha Sanklesha Samam Vidate. But this prayer is not just, it's actually illustrating how significant is paraga seva, attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. Because in this prayer it's said that unlimited, completely miserable material conditions are easily mitigated by attachment to the lotus feet of the Lord. Hearing and chanting, gunanuvad, actually, hearing about the wonderful qualities of the Lord, of Murari, the enemy of the Mura demon. And so kimva, and so what to speak of, punascharanara vinda paraga seva ratir. And so what to speak of having actual attachment for those to the affectionate service to the lotus feet of that Lord, which Atmalabdha completely fulfills the soul. I mean, that's just ecstatic. That is just nectar, swimming in nectar. Kim va punas chacharanaravindha. So what to speak of? In other words, what to even worry about? Ashesha sanklesha. What is there even to worry about? Unlimited, completely miserable conditions. Samam vidate. Who cares? It's nothing. And samam vidate, getting rid of all of those completely miserable conditions, is very easily accomplished. It's a side effect of paraga seva ratir, of affectionate, attracted service to the lotus feet of the Lord. It's just a side effect, eliminating all material suffering. It's like, psh, done. What is the real result? Atmalabdha, completely fulfilling the soul with rati, natural attraction and affection for the Lord. Hare Krishna. I mean, they've got so many more prayers to the lotus feet of the Lord. But I'll just recite one more. I swear this is the last one. No. Okay, yeah, well, just one more. Sorry, I just have to do this one more. One that we might know. Yasyananam Makarakundala Charikana Brajak Kapola Subagam Savila Sahasam Nityotsavam Natratipur Drishibi Pipantyo Naryo Narashcha Murita Kupita Nimeshcha. After I recite so many prayers to the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Damodar, then move up to the lotus face of the Lord. This wonderful shloka, which is spoken by Brahma. This is a beautiful prayer where he says that the Lord's face is Nitya Utsavam. It's like an eternal festival. It's an unending party. And it's attractive to both men and women. Naryo, Naraha. Naryo Narashcha Mudita Kupita Nimeshcha. He describes the Lord's face as having soft black curls, shark-shaped earrings, a reddish luster. Naryo Narashcha Mudita Kupita Nimeshcha. How did it go? Yasyananam Makarakundala Charikana Brajak Kapola Subagam Savilasahasyam. Oh, Savilasahasam. And he's always wearing upon his face the beautiful, affectionate smile. We can see that so clearly in our wonderful Lord Sri Sri Radha Damodar when you go there and see the affectionate smile of Damodar. Savilasahatsam. So in this way, Brahma is helping us to know what we should be praying about. What should we be meditating on? How we should approach Sri Sri Radha Damodar. Not just, oh, Sri Sri Radha Damodar, please give me this and please give me that. But rather, please engage me in the service of your lotus feet by hearing, by chanting, by remembering, by encouraging others to do so and taking pleasure when others do so as well. By recognizing the transcendental qualities, gunanuvada, shravanam murare, reciting these prayers that we hear from Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, awakens in us the natural tendency to meditate on the Lord in a particular way and to serve the Lord in a particular way. If we do not hear from the pure devotees, then we won't remember our natural inclination. If we don't hear all the different moods of devotion expressed in the nectar of devotion, then how will we remember? We'll think my only relationship with the Lord is that He is my order supplier. He should just give me everything that I want and then leave me alone. But if we continue to hear, then naturally we'll become influenced, as Prabhupada said, feeling influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities, and then offer prayers to the Lord. So, in conclusion, because I've waffled on for long enough, in conclusion, the devotional act of Vandanam is something very profound and very deep. We have access to a treasure trove of devotional sentiment, and hearing about it regularly while performing sadhana bhakti will awaken in us raganuga, spontaneous devotion to serve the Lord in a particular way, and take us further on through anartha nivritti, rati, and then to bhava, awakening, remembering, and cultivating a very specific mood and love of God. It's something very special. It's very powerful. So we should make some practice of doing that. We should write down various prayers that we read, recite them, meditate on them, cultivate that mood. That's the opportunity that's laid before us. All we have to do is take it and apply it. The Lord has unlimited transcendental qualities and opulences, and one who feels influenced by the Lord's qualities in various activities offers prayers to the Lord. In this way, he becomes successful. Hare Krishna, Grantaraj, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol. I didn't leave a whole lot of time, but I suppose if there's anyone wants to add something, or of course Taraka Prabhu, quick to raise his hand. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thanks for listening.
Prabhu, I am jumping out of my skin here. I am so excited. I don't know if I can speak coherently. This is this was an exceptionally wonderful class. I'm gonna create a permanent link for myself to the YouTube recording of this because it's so wonderful. I was hoping, really hoping. I didn't pray for it, but I really hoped that somehow or other you would be the person who gave class today, because I know that you have a fine appreciation for Vandanam. Um, and I think that that fact clicked for me when I heard you talking about in another class the value of um, reciting prayers that have already been accepted by the Lord. That in that way we can be assured that our prayers are going to be accepted and appreciated, that they will actually please Krishna. Very important factor. Um, anyway, I'm oh God, I am so much appreciating your comments on prayers and sharing with us a bunch of prayers that are meaningful to you. You should expect that at some point or other, I'm going to write to you and beg you for your prayer collection. Um, I have shared from time to time exchange prayers with other devotees who are into that. As you may know, I myself am very fond of reciting prayers. It's an incredibly ecstatic process, and big difference between the prayers in which we are begging for the Lord's mercy, begging for the mercy of the spiritual master, and so on. There are those prayers where we're asking for something, and then there are the prayers that are just glorification of Guru, of the Vaishnavas, of the Lord in his various manifestations, and those, in my experience, are particularly ecstatic, and the Lord reciprocates those kinds of prayers. He clearly is pleased by them. I every day before Mangala Artik, I chant a whole bunch of prayers. I've got a and the set of prayers that I chant shifts from time to time. I some things are added, some things are deleted. Keeps changing as my moods evolve. But one of I also chant a chapter of Bhagavad Gita every morning. But one of my favorite prayers, just because it's so nectarian to chant it here, is Brahma Samhita. I chant the Brahma Samhita every morning before Mangala Artik, and Krishna seems to appreciate my regular chanting of this prayer. I never miss, every day without fail for years and years, never miss a day. Um, Never miss Mangala Arati, never miss the prayers every single day. Religiously, it goes on, and the results are incredibly ecstatic, unbelievably ecstatic. It is so nice, so very nice. I'm so glad you gave this class and made the comments that you did. I wish everyone could hear this. It's such a nice thing. It's so wonderful. Um, anyway, thank you very, very much. And we don't have a lot of time, but I really want to thank you. Great, spectacular class, really nice. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Taraka Prabhu. Yes. And also setting that example. And I think that everybody should have a repertoire, an arsenal of prayers that they make part of their daily sadhana. And especially when you go to have darshan, you see the Lord, you should have a few that you've learned, that you've memorized, that you're continuing to meditate upon, to cultivate. Just like I learned from His Holiness Shiva Ramaswamy, and Taraka Prabhu does it, and I see so many devotees do it. Some of you know the great Prana Prabhu from New Zealand, the great Gurukul teacher and super Brahmana. I would see him taking darshan of Sri Sri Radhagiridhar in Auckland, and it would just take him 10 minutes because he's just reciting so much, just going and going and going. And it's such a beautiful part of a practice. So I encourage any devotee who's listening to please read through Nectar Devotion, select some of the beautiful prayers there. You can learn the Sanskrit if you can. If you want tips, I guess we don't have time, but I could give you tips about how to do that. Or recite in English, it's fine. And just make that part of the cultivation of your moods of your devotion. Let's not miss out on this great opportunity that we have in all of these great literatures and all these great prayers recited by pure devotees. Hare Krishna. I suppose we should finish. It's overtime. We're in the overtime. So thanks for tuning in, and may everybody have a glorious day in devotional service. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai.